with the Reform Alliance, and I'm here at the Arkansas Arboretum Trail at Pinnacle Mountain State Park. I'm going to take you guys on a little short guided walk to see what we can find today. This trail is actually still open currently here at Pinnacle Mountain State Park. So one of the first things I noticed whenever I drove up was this nest right here. Bird's not in there right now, but that belongs to a Carolina wren. Carolina wrens are native to the eastern portion of the United States, actually the state bird of South Carolina, and they can be found all the way from Canada down to Mexico throughout the southeast region. The Carolina wren is actually the second largest species of wren in the wren family, right behind the cactus wren. Speaking of wren, this is my dog, Renly. She's going to be joining us on this trail, on this little walk today. We've got our water. I've got my water. She's got her water. We're dressed appropriately with our sneakers on and everything for a walk. In my backpack, I'll show you guys what I got in my backpack here. Some things that you can take out on a nature walk if you have them. I usually bring a field guide of some type if I'm like gonna go on a longer hike. So this one right here, my field guide to North American birds. Got my Arkansas snake guide here. Got a couple more. Let's see, American guide to, or complete guide, field guide to American wildlife. So, and then I've got another one on rocks. But that's something that you can take along with you as well. So this guy I noticed earlier, I think he's still alive. Let me move you out of the way. Oh no! Get off that caterpillar! He's angry. I'm gonna move him over because he's gonna get stepped on. Oh no! Poor caterpillar. Okay. He got stepped on. Anyway, back with you guys. Next thing that I want to point out is this is called a blaze. For those of you who don't know, that's where the term trailblaze came from. So the term trailblazing, people would mark on trees to denote where the trail leads to. So we do that today with paint. So if you've ever been walking in the woods and saw a paint tree that's painted like that, that's called a blaze. If there were multiple different if there were multiple different trails around this way, they would all be different colors. So that back there was the blazed in yellow, and then that was the Gulf Coastal Plain spur. So we're not gonna take that spur. Obviously we're gonna stay on the paved trail here, just because those are just to make it a little bit longer. They go to a little bit different regions, but the Arkansas Arboretum Trail is about a 1 kilometer. For those of you who are not familiar with the metric system, it's about a little over half a mile paved loop trail here at Pinnacle Mountain State Park. It is set up in terms of the 6 regions of Arkansas. So that was the Gulf Coastal spur, with different Gulf Coastal trees planted down that way. Speaking of trees, we've got a loblolly. Loblolly pine is, fun fact, the Arkansas state tree. Loblolly pine tree. And you can see here, as you can see, we're in the West Gulf Coastal Plain region. Those regions of Arkansas are where South Arkansas, West Gulf Coastal Plain, and then above that you've got the Ouachita Mountains and then the Arkansas River Valley, and then the Ozark Plateau. And most of the eastern part of Arkansas is all going to be the Mississippi Valley Alluvial Plain, or Mississippi River Alluvial Plain, and Crowley's Ridge region, which is a little sliver that kind of goes up through Jonesboro area, little sliver there called Crowley's Ridge. And those are named that way because of the different geological things that are found in those regions. They also have different flora and fauna there as well. So as you can see, Arkansas River Valley region, the eastern red cedar. So this guy is found right around that region there. So there's a pine tree. Let me see if I can find. Oh. Get up. So now we're coming up on the Mississippi alluvial plain region. Beech tree there, and the Ozark Plateau region. So, and another thing that I wanted to mention, as far as, so like moving that caterpillar, but anytime you see snakes or any wildlife, especially just leave them alone, especially snakes, especially if you don't know what they are. They could be venomous, they could not be venomous, but it's best just to leave them where they are. I was working here several years ago. I was on this trail and I saw probably about just a foot long copperhead on the trail. It was just a little baby, but you know, just left it just on the trail, because that's, you know, what you're supposed to do. Don't touch any snakes, wildlife, or anything like that. Still in the Ozark Plateau region, so some of the trees that are found there, but you know, also found here. We're still in Arkansas, so this is kind of all just Arkansas trees. There's a sweet gum tree there. So, Carolina wren, and then if I can find a tree, there's a squirrel. Everyone's seen a squirrel, but I'm kind of like, you know, like Renly, if she sees a squirrel, she's like, squirrel! You know the movie, from the movie Up, that it's always fun to just see a squirrel. Anyway, so, what was that? Oh yeah. So, we've got an oak tree here. That's an easy one. Carolina wren, or willow oak, for example, which is this one. Any name like that, dog, so Renly's a dog, any name like that is going to be your common name. So what that means is willow oak is the common name, that's what we know it as. And then you have a scientific name, Quercus phylos, or phylos, I guess. And that is the scientific name. So what that means is that's the genus Quercus and the species is Phylos. And so we have willow oak there, post oak, water oak, all different kinds of oak trees, red oak trees, all different kinds of oak trees that are going to be under the genus Quercus. So got another one here. Sweet gum is Liquidambar styrosiflua. We're going to go with that. So that's the genus and the species of that tree. So what that means is, few years ago, my boy Carl Carl Linnaeus came up with a system. Binomial nomenclature is what it's called, is what he called it. And that means binomials, two names. Nomenclature is just naming things. So binomial nomenclature means your genus and your species, and that's what we call organisms. That's why their quote unquote like scientific name would be. So we are Homo sapiens, dogs are Canis familiaris. You've got, the possum, Virginia possum is Didelphis virginianus. So all these different things that all have their genus and species. So that is under the umbrella of taxonomy. Taxonomy is just naming, the science of naming organisms. And there's actually, it goes up from there. So you have the genus and the species, but that's really all that we have to really pay attention to. That's what they call them. That's the shortest form of it, is what I'm trying to say here. You go up to kingdom. So you've got kingdom, phylum, class, family, order, then family, then genus, then species. Is actually all the way down the chain. Down the chain. So I keep up with it. There's a mnemonic, actually. There's tons of mnemonics, but King Philip came over for great spaghetti. So kingdom, phylum, order, class, then order, and then family, and then genus and the species. The genus and the species are always, so white oak here, a lot of oak trees around here, always